there is a lot of excitement happening around Beneva, and we're starting to see that now. And I appreciate being invited today to talk about the flip side of YRT Universal Life. And when we talk about Beneva, for those that maybe aren't familiar with who we are, I just want to quickly touch on that. So Beneva came together from the marriage of La Capitale and SSQ. So the merger has been happening over the last 3 years, and as of this year, we've now officially taken on that brand of Beneva. You may have already started to see the branding out there. We are spending a lot of money on two things. One being the branding. So you're going to see the Beneva branding in all sorts of places if you haven't already, such as the tennis matches that took place in Montreal and Toronto, the Ottawa Senators hockey games. We are a major sponsor of the Just for Laughs festival that took place in Montreal, and that's currently taking place in Toronto now. We have billboards going up or advertising going up all across Billy Bishop Airport in Toronto. So we're doing a great job of getting that brand out there. And I think it's very important that we do that, especially coming from the SSQ side, is where I came from over the last 10 years. We didn't do the greatest job getting the brand out there, and it made it hard sometimes speaking with our clients. So I think they're doing a great job getting the branding out there. The other thing is the technology. We're spending a lot of money on the technology side of the business. We understand that that's where the business is headed and has already started to, especially since COVID. And things like this, doing Zoom presentations and things. So we are spending a lot of money in the technology side, but we are a big player. A lot of people don't realize how big of a player we are. So you can see on the screen there, we have over 3.5 million clients. We're over 5,000 employees now. We have just under 27 billion in assets under management and over 6.5 billion in gross premium. So we are a big player and we are continuing to grow. Now, before I get into it, we always like to make sure that you're getting value when we're talking to you, whether it be for half an hour, 10 minutes, an hour. We want to make sure that we have you thinking and that you're taking advantage of the time today of being with us and not necessarily in front of a client. So think of any clients that you're dealing with or any clients that you may be dealing with in the future where you think that these concepts that I'm going to talk to you about could come into play and be valuable. You may have seen these concepts be talked about already from members of our team across the country, but we're talking about them a lot. And the reason we're doing that is because we're seeing a lot of success with these concepts. And we hope that you find value in these concepts and maybe give you an idea as to where it would fit in your business. But let's talk about, what's happening in the country, and it's inflation. And, you walk around the grocery store and you see everything going up, everything, not just, you see on the screen milk, a few years ago was $4.39 and it's now, depending on the brand, is over $6 for milk. But everything we're buying has gone up. We're paying more for the same thing. And, it makes me wonder as I'm walking around the grocery store and seeing some of these prices, how a lot of people are affording to live. And I really feel bad, for a lot of people that are in horrible situations where they can't afford, the simple necessities just because everything's going up. And if we're not paying more for the same thing, well, we're paying the same, but for less. So have you noticed this lately? If next time you're in the grocery store, take a look. You'll see, and there's a couple examples on the screen, the Gatorades, the crackers, the toothpaste, but you'll see the weight is going down. So we're paying the same, but we're getting a lot less. And actually, I just saw a program on the news where they did some investigating with some of these products. And they had, I know I'm kind of keep talking about junk food, but they were investigating cookies. And they noticed the number of cookies in the packaging has gone down as well. So it's interesting to see that, whether we're paying a lot more for the same or paying the same for a lot less, the inflation, shrinkflation, it's real. And what that's causing is an effect not only on us, but on our clients. And the real concern is the cash flow and what that's going to look like, especially for the future. And it's causing a lot of trepidation when we're trying to get clients to commit to various products, right? Whether it's insurance and whatnot. And, just having these new costs in play, it's really having them a bit weary about that and gives them a general worry overall as to what's going to happen. So they want more certainty down the road. They want more flexibility. And most importantly, whether it's our clients or us, we want more value for our dollar because we're risk managers and our job is essentially to manage the risk as we see fit, but while we manage the costs as well. And term opportunities help us with that. Right? We get great value with term products. We have the guarantees as far as the pricing, the coverage that's there, some benefits that are there, the flexibility of exchanging it or converting it, and having those risks, that we need covered. Essentially, the best bang for our buck when it comes to for term products. Term, it's very cost effective, right? It's our cheapest way of getting coverage to cover that need that we have now, whether it's, income replacement or to cover our mortgage or final expenses. It's there. And with our Term Plus product, we have greater risk protection. The reason why we say that is because there's a few other things that are there as well, such as our rating reduction program. So if you're not familiar with this, it's something that we don't advertise. We don't really talk about it, except if it's us as the sales team speaking with you. But what this program is that if your client is under 70 years old, they're applying for coverage up to $2 million worth of coverage, and they've been rated up to 200%. In a lot of cases, we can actually bring that down to standard issue. Okay, so a lot of people don't know that we offer this program, but we do. Like I said, we just don't advertise it. So that's one way that we add value and have that greater risk protection is by having that rating reduction program available. Also the ability to customize our term plan, and I'll talk about that in a second. But there's various terms available, CI riders that can be added on, debt riders that can be added on, extreme disability benefit, insurability benefit, and these are all included. I'll talk about that on the next slide. So when we look at our term as a whole, so very competitively priced. I never use the word cheap when it comes with insurance, but very competitively priced. We'll always try to be near the top, but then there's also some great value adds, and I'll quickly just touch on the product itself. So this is our Term Plus product. We have a base of life insurance, whether it's terms of 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40-year terms. And then we can add on some riders, such as our debt disability rider. So this rider is not an income replacement product. It's to cover debts. Essentially, the client can apply for a monthly indemnity up to $3,500 a month. And should they become disabled, then we will pay them that monthly indemnity and not their creditors. So there's no integration if a client has a standalone disability plan. Another rider that can be added on is our critical illness rider. And I'm going to talk about that on the next slide because I think it's a great product to talk about. Our child rider, so just for over $10 a month, client can add on a child rider, gives coverage up to $25,000 per child, regardless of how many children they have. But then some great benefits that are included at no charge to the client, which I think are great value adds in something as simple as a term product, such as our insurability benefit, which allows the client to increase their coverage 25% to a maximum of $100,000 without having some insurability. And then our extreme disability benefit, this is a benefit that if you were to quote Beneva, you will see this on all of our products. And this benefit will advance 50% of the insured's face amount up to $250,000 should the client become extremely disabled before the age of 60. And what that means is that the client is unable to perform 4 of the 6 activities of daily living. We will then advance them 50% of their face amount up to $250,000. So some unique features that are included at no charge to the client in a product such as simple as our term. The critical illness rider, I told you I wanted to quickly touch on this. This rider, we have a standalone CI rider, but this rider, it's a flat $20,000 worth of coverage. No more, no less. Okay, it covers cancer, heart attack, and stroke. But the thing I like about this rider is that, first of all, as long as your client is approved standard or better on their life, we're automatically going to offer them this rider. We're not even going to underwrite it. So, you could have a client that was rated or even declined. I just had one yesterday actually where the client was declined on a standalone CI plan and was still able to get this rider because they were approved standard on their life insurance. Again, going back to affordability and the value. And this is where I think, we get value with a product like CI, which I think is very important in a client's plan. And to be able to get them $20,000 worth of coverage at a very affordable price, I think is great. And you'll see the example on the screen. We have a 35-year-old male non-smoker, and this rider is $102 a year. And that $102 a year will stay level all the way to age 85 as long as the client has coverage in place. So as a quick example, if a client has a term 10 with the CI rider, he then converts in a few years to a permanent product, he can take this rider with him, and that $102 a year for that rider will stay level all the way to age 85. Okay. Something else to be a little cautious of or take note of, especially when we're, again, going back to the value for our dollar, is wording when it comes to a contract. This especially was something that was brought to me last year that I wasn't really too familiar with when we compared our wording through some other carriers' wording. But when it comes to converting a term product, just quickly going through this, you'll see that with Beneva, we're able to convert to any permanent product that we offer at the time of the conversion. And then there's a couple other companies. One says that they'll determine the rate class, the health class, and the yearly premium. The other one says that the death benefit doesn't increase over time. Okay. And then the last one that says they'll determine the type of policy that you can convert to. So, when we're looking at contracts, it made me a little bit more conscious to be aware of the wording when it comes to the contract. So it's something to be aware about. Critical illness, definitely all about the definitions. And the reason why I just wanted to quickly touch on this is because I think that we have a very strong definition when it comes to cancer. What you'll see on the screen is Beneva's exclusions when it comes to cancer compared to what the CLHIA benchmark exclusions were back in 2013. They added some red, and then more recently, as of 2018, added some more red. I'm not going to go through all these, obviously, just due to time, but feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to send you these slides if you'd like. Okay. But now getting into our story, and I said at the beginning that our team has gone around and talked about these strategies and these stories, and we continue to do so because we've seen a lot of success in sitting down with you as the advisor to help you understand where can we see value if we're using the same money, but maybe just looking at something else. And that's where the whole flip side of the UL YRT comes into play. And we're starting with our cashback term. And what you'll see here in this example is that we have Alice. Okay, she's 43 years old. She's a non-smoker. She's got a few children. She needs $2 million worth of coverage to cover some debts as well as her income. She's obviously looking for affordability, but she wants to have coverage to age 60. And she would like to have some critical illness coverage as well as child protection as well. So if we were to run that quote, what we'll see is that we have Alice, 43 years old, $2 million, term 20. We added on that child rider for $25,000 worth of coverage, the CI rider that we talked about that covers the cancer, heart attack, stroke, the $20,000, and then that extreme disability benefit that you'll see included in all of our products. You'll see for a total of $186.44 a month. Okay, so very affordable, covering all what she's looking for. But what about, like I said, paying the same, but adding some more value to that? And this is how I would now turn around and look at using another product for the same money. So what I've done here is we still have Alice, 43 years old, non-smoker, but we've taken the YRT UL for the base amount of coverage, which is $25,000 of coverage. We then added a term 20 rider for the difference of 1.975. Same critical illness rider for the $20,000 worth of coverage. Same child rider for $25,000. The extreme disability benefit, like I said, is included in all of our life coverages that you're going to quote. Our UL has a privilege in case of disability benefit included there at no charge. And the total premium is $186.66 a month. Okay. So when we look at this plan, we have the same $2 million worth of coverage for the 20 years that Alice wanted, right? The difference is that now at the end of the 20 years, she's got surrender value in there, or fund value, that she can then surrender and get some money back. Okay, so if we're to compare them side by side, just to show you what that would look like, the traditional term 20 for Alice, $2 million worth of coverage, child rider, $25,000, CI rider, $20,000, monthly premium, $186.44. At the end of the 20 years, there's no cash back, and your FYC would be just over $1,000. If we were to use the cashback term strategy by using the UL YRT plan, same coverage, $2 million worth of coverage, child rider, same, CI rider, the same. It's a difference of 23 cents more a month. The difference is that at the end of the 20 years, she can then surrender the policy and get $1,261 back, and your comp will be a little bit more. Okay. So let's look at another example of using this. So we have Joe. Okay, he's in year 3 of his current term 10 policy with another carrier. He bought it at age 41 for $1 million. He's currently paying $60 a month, and it renews in year 11 at $485 a month. So he's got a few options. Well, he can do an exchange, right, or a switch, which in most likely would be to a term 20. Most carriers have a term 10 to a term 20 switch. Our exchange program, we can go from any term to any longer term within the first 5 years. John, you can also convert. Of course, he can convert to a permanent product. He can do a new term 10 at age 44, which would be $70 or more a month. He can do a new term 20 with that same insurer for $140 a month. And the client wants to have a term 20. So what are his options? So let's put it all together. So his current term 20, he can do $140, no cash values or anything. The process is simple, okay, because he's just exchanging it. But that's it. He can do a new term, $128 a month. It's going to need a new app, yes, but at least he'll have the extreme disability benefit, that guaranteed insurability option there as well. Okay, or we can look at the cashback term strategy, which if we just did it as is, would be $134 a month. Okay, using the 25,000 base YRT, which I'm also using a 1% guaranteed interest account. It's guaranteed at 1%. So a lot of the questions I get asked is what interest rate are you quoting this, or what rate of return? So what we're using is a 10-year GIA guaranteed at 1% contractually, okay, to run this. So it's fully guaranteed. And then he's got cash values there. He's got permanent coverage of 25,000. Yes, it's a new app, but again, he's going to have that extreme disability benefit and guaranteed insurability option in there as well. Or we also ran it using the cashback term, but the same premium that he would have put with his current plan now if he was to switch it to term 20. And you'll see the cash value there is a lot higher than just doing the 134 a month. So the extreme disability benefit, like I said, that's included there, and the guaranteed insurability option where they can increase it 25% to a maximum of 100,000. So term, except now we're using it from a different angle and using the YRT UL, but we're using it with the guaranteed interest account of 1%, which is contractual and never fall below that in order to make this work. So now we're getting into the retirement phase. We're talking about the risk when it comes to retirement. And, we saw at the beginning inflation, that's a big risk. Market volatility, which is always a risk, and clients living longer, right? So when we're talking with our clients, the conversation is, are you using that safe investment option to supplement your income? Are you concerned that what you currently have as far as investments isn't going to sustain your current lifestyle that you're living? Are you paying too much in tax? What's important to you? Are the guarantees important to you? Right? So those are the conversations that we're having when it comes to retirement income. But what if we change that conversation? And what if we say to our clients, okay, if we could reconstruct what you experienced from your current GIC or bond, but give you significantly more cash flow with less taxable income, would that be of interest to you? I haven't met anybody that said no. We asked, what would you do with that extra cash flow? Would you go on trips, a trip that you've always wanted to do? Would you start a new hobby, or maybe both, right? So it's about changing that conversation and redirecting the dollars. Okay, so it's the same dollars, but we're going to redirect it. And this is the next concept that we're talking about. So the first one we talked about was the cashback term. The next one that we talk about is what we call the guaranteed income enhancer. And for those of you that have been in the business a long time, I'm sure you've heard of the insured annuity concept. That's what this is. We didn't like the name anymore. We thought it was time to refresh that name. So we call it the guaranteed income enhancer. And what it is, it's an insured, the guaranteed income enhancer is essentially a prescribed life annuity and a guaranteed insurance policy purchased at the same time. So the annuity provides the guaranteed regular income stream, while the life insurance policy provides a cash payout upon death. So the combination of the benefits provided by these products, it's really ideal for those that are seeking that guaranteed income and the preservation of their capital. So we're thinking of the clients, that are over 65. They're looking for that safe money. They don't want to lose a dollar. They want and need that income, and they really just want to spend the interest and have the rest go to their family. So looking at this example, and I'll break it down as simply as I can here, but looking at this example, the client, and this is a real case that we had last year, 74-year-old female. The client invested $1 million in a GIC at 3%, which would generate $30,000 of gross annual income. At a 43% tax rate, the tax payable would be $12,900. The whole $30,000, of course, is taxable, which then leaves the net annual income you see there is $17,100. Now, let's say that instead of investing in the GIC, the client went out and bought an annuity for higher income. So the gross annual income for $1 million, or maybe 500,000 annuities, if the company is not going to do the $1 million annuity, but it would be for a 47-year-old female, it's about $74,849. The annual income is significantly higher than the GIC because the difference is the annuity is repaying capital as well as interest. So the taxable income on the annuity income is $4,130 because the rest of the income is return of capital. So tax payable that you can see there is $1,776. So far the annuity sounds great, right? Because it's significantly higher income, but it's really unfair to compare the two because the GIC preserves the capital and the annuity spends the capital, right? So to make things fair, we need to recreate the capital using a guaranteed insurance contract. And in this example, I use the UL with YRT cost of insurance. And like I said in the previous example for the cashback term, I use the guaranteed 10-year GIA rate of 1%. With the minimum premium to keep in force age 100, which is $35,598 a year. So once you subtract the cost of insurance, this leaves the client with a net annual income of $37,476, which would be the equivalent of a 6.57% GIC, right? So it's, again, using the same dollars, just redirecting it a different way. And it works really well, especially because our YRT rates are very, very competitive on our UL. So when we're trying to think of the right clients to use, you would think of the Golden Girls, right? This is really the best. And the reason why I say that, well, first of all, for women, it's a bit easier as far as underwriting goes, and the pricing is fantastic. But really the 70 to 80-year-olds, a bit younger can work. It just doesn't always fit. Non-registered money of at least $250,000 with at least a 35% marginal tax rate. We can do a bit lower, but it's not going to look as good. But the main point is, of course, the client needs to be healthy to qualify for the insurance. Right? If they're not healthy enough to qualify, then the concept's obviously not going to work. But I mentioned 70 to 80 years old is really ideal. We did have a call recently from an advisor. They had a client, she's a female, 61-year-old doctor, and the advisor said, the interest rates have gone up. Do we think it's going to work now? So we ran the numbers, and I know there's a lot on the screen here, but we were able to actually get her a 6.41% GIC equivalent based on her information and what we were able to do. So the whole point is to just, again, get you thinking about using the same dollars, but redirecting it a different way. And we've had a lot of success with this. Some other cases you'll see on the screen that we've had a lot of success with. It's worked. We use the Le Capital 7-year guaranteed annuity, but it does work with other carriers' annuities. So I encourage, shop it around and take a look. But it's had a lot of success. And it's all about just providing the value for the client, finding where's the best way to redirect their money, right? When we talk about RUL, I know I'm getting close to time, so I'll just quickly go through this. But RUL, they redesigned it about 7 years ago now. When I first started with SSQ, we didn't even talk about it. We said it was in the shop. It's on the hoist. It was getting a tune-up, and I think they did a great job when they brought it back out, really simplifying the product, still making it accessible to us, but also, most importantly, making sure it's very competitive from a pricing standpoint. Cost of insurance. So today I was talking about our YRT cost of insurance, which we can get up to age 85, but we also have a competitive level cost that we can get up to age 80. Our investment fund platform, we don't have any in-house money managers. So in what I was telling you today, we talk about that 10-year GIA for these concepts, but we do have some great investment funds available on our platform for the UL. It's all third-party money managers. We don't have any in-house money managers, but we do have a committee that monitors the fund managers on a quarterly basis to make sure that they're going according to mandates and things are going smoothly. So we do have a fantastic lineup. The fees, by the way, when it comes to our UL fees, they are guaranteed and contractual. So our MER and UL fee is all together in one and is guaranteed, will not change for the length of the contract. Okay? We also have a great 1% bonus inside of our UL. So a lot of ULs have bonuses. They work a bit differently. Ours is simple. It's guaranteed, unconditional 1% of the accumulation fund value that automatically gets credited starting the 6th year of the policy anniversary. It's not related to any deposits or returns or any other condition. It's very, very simple. We also have some great included benefits. So quickly, we have an insurability benefit for children, which gives the policy owner the option to increase the amount of insurance up to $250,000 without proof of insurability. We have a critical illness benefit for children that's included that will actually pay out 25% of the insurance amount to the policy owner to $50,000 if the child becomes diagnosed with one of 8 illnesses. Privilege in case of disability, I briefly talked about, that's included at no charge. So that gives access to the fund value tax-free should the insured become disabled. That extreme disability benefit that's included in all of our plans. The ability to add on various term riders, the CI rider, whether it's the standalone or that $20,000 one that we spoke about. That's able to be added on and will automatically be offered if your client's approved standard or better. Child rider, like we talked about, can get coverage for the children up to $25,000 per child, and it's fully convertible without evidence of insurability. And then waiver premium, AD&D, benefit in case of fracture. These are nothing that necessarily differentiate us, and our competitive policy fee of $5 per month. We have some great tools such as our illustration software, so you don't need to be contracted with Beneva in order to download our software. Anybody can download our software. Just go to beneva.ca. I encourage you to do so just to play around with the software. What I can say about the software is that if it allows you to do it, it can be done. If it doesn't allow you to do it, it can't be done. So, but take a look at the software. If you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to your wholesaling team. Also in our software, we have a library, including our insurance application. It's PDF fillable, so you can access our most current insurance application. Then the library has various forms and product description guides, and anything you need to know about the products will all be in the library there for you. Online, you'll find our underwriting guides. So we have our medical and non-medical underwriting guides that will list various conditions that a client may have and will tell you how we would underwrite that client, various bill charts, etc. I know I'm running out of time here, so I'm just going to speed it up. But our electronic application, we just introduced it this year. Very, very user-friendly, very clean. Essentially has DocuSign embedded into it, so it's very easy to use. as well as our financial needs analysis available on our software. Again, clean and thorough and easy to use. And then our Ontario and Atlantic Canada sales team, I'm part of that team, happy to help. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to your wholesaling team, whether it's in regards to these concepts that we talked about today that I said we're getting a lot of traction on it just because the product works, it fits, and it also shows value to the client as far as using the same dollars, but using a product that maybe you wouldn't think of when it comes to being able to provide value for that client. So reach out to your wholesaling team. We're happy to work with you and go through those concepts or any other product on our platform that you'd like to talk about. But we're here to help you grow your business. And I thank you again for having me today. And I hope you were able to think of some clients that this will work with. And feel free to reach out if there's anything else that we can help you with. So thank you so much.